Hi, Dave.
Aloha, Carlos, my brother. Great to speak with you again.
Likewise. How you?
I'm very good. Big aloha, mahalo, and welcome back, my brother.
Thank you so much.
And how are you doing?
Perfect, perfect, perfect.
Awesome. My very best to your lovely and talented wife, Cindy, who you were with last summer when you were on with us. I hope she's healthy and doing well.
Oh, yes. Yes, by the grace, we're all strong and clear.
That's what we want to hear. And before we get into the coffee, when you and Cindy were on with us last summer, you were on Kauai, the Garden Isle, just out of to set the stage. Where are you joining us from today?
San Rafael, California. We're here in a pit stop. I come here to visit my sisters, my four sisters, my brother. And then from here, we're going to go back to Kauai Sunday.
Wow. Okay. Cool. So a quick visit to the mainland. How long have you been on the mainland?
3 to 4 weeks now.
Okay. Very cool. Well, with a lot of people around the world struggling even more due to the impacts of the pandemic, as we were talking about last time, you've embarked on another generous venture with the coffee, this time funneling some of the proceeds from your Carlos Santana coffee company to your nonprofit Milagro Foundation. So, as a sort of lead in to the coffee itself, share a little bit of that story of your Milagro Foundation and give some visibility to your mission that this coffee is helping.
We feel really honored and grateful that we can be of service to children all over the world, Africa, South America, India, and here in the United States, especially American Indian reservations, to bring uh, fresh, pure water. And, you know, uh, uh, in the old days, I think people would train their young people to be scouts. I think now we train them to be lawyers. So and I mean that in a good way. Last time I was in an Indian reservation uh, in Albuquerque, close to New Mexico, I learned so much about how my sisters and brothers are still learning how to coexist now within the law, and so they a lot of them they send their kids, their youngsters, to become scouts, which lawyers, so they can understand the law and uh, help themselves within the confines of the American government, so they can have integrity.
Right on. And so, in a way, you're saying by the Milagro Foundation funneling dough into some of these causes, that's some of what it enables.
Yes, like I said, we're able to be of service to humanity in many different forms.
Where did you first come up with the idea for you to release this tasty line of coffee, some of which I have tried to?
By grace, the two words that are like living vortex, grace and energy. Since I was born, I've been around those two words, grace and energy. Some people believe in luck, chance, or fortune. I always believe in grace. Grace is hitting the bullseye even in the dark. Luck, chance, and fortune. You're taking a chance to throw a dart. Hopefully, you hit the middle of it. So it's chance, but with grace is a very certain specificity. Grace allowed me to be born in Outland with my parents, and they taught me what they taught me. I was able to be ground zero in Head Ashbury and learn what I learned from Bill Graham and Jerry Garcia. Uh, Later on with Tito Puente, BB King, and of course Clive Davis. So by grace, I've been around into a place where things open up for me. What I do have is energy. And so now, aligned with Icon Global Coffee, there's more energy. That the first thing that I learned when I was a kid about energy was we always had coffee and frijoles and tortillas. And so when you take your first sip of coffee, it gives you a different kind of energy to not only get through the day, but get into a place where you accomplish the things. My mother was that kind of person. She will always have a list of things to accomplish. Like she would say, we're poor, but we're not dirty. Clean it up. And so whatever we did, even before music, my mom instilled in us to put your backbone in it, put some energy behind it, and walk with impeccable integrity. And so that's still working right now, more than ever.
I love that you bring her up because, family can be such an important thing for people in many parts of the world. Certainly here in Hawaii, family or ohana, as you know, can be a very big deal for many folks. So when we think of ways people are influenced, especially when it comes to food and drink, the way we behave, how we treat other people, share a little bit more of where your mom and dad were on things like influences that have rubbed off on you.
That's a very good question. We always felt that your thoughts, your words, and your deeds could affect a lot of people, and not just your family. Uh, I feel really, really grateful. I aspire to bring something to Kauai. Like, for example, uh, about a year and a half ago or something like that, there was three children that, got into a car accident really, really bad, close to where I was living at that time, Anahola. And and I decided that I want to, now that I live in Kauai, I want to be of service more to the community and to the mayor. And for example, I aspire to create a sign that says, put them on all the schools that says, graduate to greatness, not your demise. Don't drink and drive.
Wow.
You know, now if you put that in all the schools on all the islands, and people see it every day, especially the youngsters, every day you go to school and you see graduate to greatness, not your demise. Don't drink and drive. There's like a psychological tattoo. So when that day comes that you're going to graduate, you don't get overly drunk and hurt yourself and kill other people. So to me, it's all about future pool. Being in the island Honopono, I have learned so much about the spirit of Hawaii. All the islands as one. Bringing that to the mainland can be very healing, very helpful to the consciousness mentality of here in the mainland. They call it as a doggy dog, it's a rat race, and yada yada yada.
Right.
And where I live in Kauai, people used to say everybody wants to go to heaven, nobody wants to die. Well, when you're in Kauai or any other island, you're in heaven and you're more alive than ever. But now to bring that spirit into the church, into the schools, into any institution, and to Congress, we need some seriously rainbow consciousness mentality at the Capitol. When you see the rainbows, it reminds you of a promise of unity and harmony working together between the metaphysical and the physical, whether it's Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Allah, Rama, or Pele. It's all one connectedness. And so I feel really, really grateful, man, that I'm 73 and everything that I learned from Woodstock to Jerry Garcia to where I am is more vibrant than ever. And I feel very, very alive. I have more energy than ever. I'm very enthusiastic. And for me, it's about gratitude. I wake up to gratitude, and therefore I can be consistent with offering miracles and blessings to the world.
A lot of this message has been consistent with you for many, many decades, but I also hear that maybe there's an influence, a power of having lived here and have this relationship you do with Hawaii, because it sounds like, just paraphrasing, you want to take some of that positive energy of cohesive and people getting along and bring it back to the mainland.
Yes, absolutely. I think the mainland could use some rainbow power. Uh, you know, everything about Kauai makes me realize that there's power in kumbaya and goody two shoes and Pollyanna. There's some kind of power about thinking with brutal positivity, and people and somehow the arrogant, cynical people, all of a sudden their face changed from a question mark to an affirmation, like, oh, okay, I want some of that. It's kind of boring being me because I'm so negative all the time. I'm predictable and pathetic. I think I'll try some of that rainbow consciousness. So I aspire to bring more of this consciousness to the mainland.
I like that. I like that a lot. And Cindy, having Cindy as part of your life, how has that helped to further enable your mission? Because she's such a bubbly force. You guys are such a nice couple together.
Yes, thank you for asking that. Cindy is a gift. We're a gift to one another, but Cindy is a gift to me in a sense that uh, she's so clear and positive and vibrant, and she's dedicated to her physical body, like Usain Bolt is, like a world class Olympic athlete. So I said it before. She, as a drummer, she's like the Bruce Lee of drums. She's like the Jimi Hendrix. She's like the Jimi Hendrix, Bruce Lee's of drums, because she's at that level. She's since she was earlier than 7 years old. That's all she wanted to do was to have a fro, freckles, and play drums. You know, and so when you create that as a vocation, back vacation, uh, then nothing's going to stop you. I feel really honored and grateful that God put us together to live a quality of life. Uh, and the proof is this: when they invite us to play the national anthem at a basketball game, the energy immediately changes. Not because Cindy and I, but because of what goes through us and what we allow. Somehow it becomes, when you look at the stands and we're playing the national anthem, Cindy and I, you really see and feel the real United States, not fragmented fear. That's how we play the national anthem. Not as a thing that represents a certain race or a certain color. No, we play the national anthem like the rainbows in Hawaii. A living promise that we will create heaven on earth in our lifetime.
Rainbow Power. I loved how you described it. And we were talking about the Milagro Foundation, which the Carlos Santana Coffee Company donates a portion of the proceeds to. And you also mentioned Bill Graham in your rap. It was on the Milagro tour, if you can believe it, Carlos. Almost 30 next summer. It'll be 30 years ago that you and I first spoke. We were at Great Woods outside of Boston. Harry Duncan of Slims had set it up.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just think, in all these years of talking to you, when I think of the positive message you have, I just flash back to that time in your life. I remember you were sitting there. You had your Mesa Boogie amps and like a semicircle around you. Picture of Jesus, picture of Bill Graham, picture of Miles, picture of Bob Marley all around you. There's positive thing that you give. I just can't help but think it's been amplified over the years.
By the grace of God, we have become. I said this to Joe Cocker like about maybe a month before he left on the other side. I said to Joe Cocker, Joe, he says, yeah, Carlos. I says, we used to be charcoal and now we're diamonds. And he looked at me and he goes, did you just make that up? I said, yeah. I said, that's great. Yeah, we used to be charcoal and now we're diamonds. I says, yeah, the pressure made us into diamonds.
I love it, my brother. Well, as a final note before I let you go, because I know you're very, very busy and I don't want to keep you too long. Looking ahead, you've got this Earth, Wind, and Fire, such a classic band like Santana, a lot of very positive messages. And I imagine you've got memories going way back to when you first enjoyed their music or encountered them that they are going to be part of, fingers crossed, this rescheduled tour that you've got coming up this summer. When I mention their name, what's your earliest memory of coming across them and realizing that, like you, they shared a vision of trying to make positivity part of their mission?
They're warriors, musical warriors. We did a tour in 1975 with them. The first time they came to Europe, they opened up for us all through Europe. We even went to Checkpoint Charlie, Yugoslavia, and Czechoslovakia. But when I first hear them, I hear the first. I hear the trail that the Chambers Brothers and Sly Stone, Neville Brothers, and Allman Brothers, but especially the Chamber Brothers. The Chamber Brothers and Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's the collection of with Earth, Wind, and Fire. Bands that transcend the color, when the Chamber Brothers play or Sly play, or Earth, Wind, and Fire play, it's an all-inclusive Americana. Beyond Americana, it becomes global. Earth, Wind, and Fire is a global band, not just an American band. And same thing with Santana. We're a global band.
It's so true. Well, I mean, what a great note to leave it on. And it's Carlos Santana. You're our first. We've been, since the pandemic started and the touring stopped, we started this series Off the Road, which you were a part of last summer. You're our first return guest. So as I think about saying goodbye to you and the fact we've been doing interviews now together 29 years, I just give you a big hug, a high five. And I'm so
Thank
great.
you. Yes.
I'm grateful for your time, my brother, and your positive energy.
Mahalo. Stay precious and radiant.
You too. Talk to you again soon, I hope. Be safe, Carlos.
You too. Bye bye.
Aloha.
Aloha.